Hi, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk with me, your host, Davina Ray, where we bring you up-to-date happenings and trends around the Triangle and beyond. We're very excited to welcome our guest on this episode. It is Kaylee Tarber, who is running for District Attorney for Orange and Chatham counties. She is also a State Bar approved specialist in state criminal law. Kaylee has been a criminal justice advocate for over 25 years, and her entire career has been focused on dealing with the most challenging cases in criminal law. In 1997, Kaylee created the first ever comprehensive domestic violence unit for Lee, Harnett, and Johnston counties. It was the only one of its kind in the state. So welcome to the show, Kaylee. How are you today?
Thank you very much.
You've done a lot in the field of sexual violence and trafficking, domestic issues, and you're a true inspiration and role model for young girls and women. So let's start by asking you a little bit more about your career path and your decision to run for district attorney.
Well, my career path has been a bit unconventional. I am what they call an Army brat. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I grew up following my father around while he was in the U.S. Armed Forces. He is a Vietnam veteran. And so I had the chance to live overseas and be educated in international schools. When we got back to the United States, and we settled here in North Carolina and been here ever since. I had the opportunity to attend UNC undergrad, where I met the love of my life. He entered into the armed forces after we graduated, and then I followed him to Japan, Okinawa to be specific, where we were stationed. And I worked there and as well in California as an American Red Cross military services worker. So it's a little bit unconventional kind of life that led me to finally going to law school as an adult. My husband and I put me through law school at UNC, where I graduated and then got a job as a district attorney working in the area of domestic violence. So it wasn't until I was contacted by the Orange County DA in 2000 about a sexual assault prosecutor grant. And he offered me the job to finish out that grant and to really focus on prosecuting crimes of sexual violence. I realized that I had an aptitude for it, that the children that I worked with and the women that I worked with and some of the young men that I worked with really felt supported by how I handled their cases. And so I've been doing that ever since.
Very accomplished. So what do you think is going to be different about your leadership compared to the current admin?
Well, interestingly enough, since the 70s, the position of elected district attorney or appointed district attorney has been handed down from gentleman to gentleman. So if I am elected to this position, I will be the first woman to hold this very important leadership position. So obviously that will be quite a bit different. In addition, I'm sorry, Davina. In addition, I have a very strong belief that when you are working with folks who intersect with the criminal justice system, you need to look at them individually. You need to figure out what is going on in their life that has resulted in them potentially facing criminal consequences. What can we do to intervene? How can we make their life better? So that emphasis is something that I think is going to be a little bit new, and it's going to be my priority.
Who would you say is an ideal voter and why?
I would say the ideal voter is one who understands that local races are critical. They are the positions most likely to have a direct impact on your life. The ideal voter is one who researches the candidates, checks out their positions, and makes the decision about who is going to be the best person for your community.
I see. Okay. Why did you focus your career on sexual assault, and what do you think are the challenges ahead in this?
Well, like I said, when I received that offer to fulfill the sexual assault grant, I wasn't sure that was going to be my career goal, but I realized that I had some aptitude for it. I took lots of training, and now I'm really the most experienced sexual assault prosecutor around there in our district. Well, definitely in our district, and I actually train other prosecutors in this area. They rely on me for advice when they're working on their own cases, and I find that teaching part of the job very rewarding. But honestly, the one thing that keeps me doing this day after day for almost 25 years now is when I'm sitting in my office and the phone rings and I don't recognize the number. And it's someone from my local community who has reached out personally to me to talk about something that happened to them as a child, wanting to know what they can do. Can they get justice at this late date? And I will tell you that some of those phone calls have resulted in successful prosecutions, because in North Carolina, there's no statute of limitations on sexual assault. Right. You still have the right to seek justice.
That's very impressive. So you've been working as a district attorney for over 20 years now. Mm-hmm. What has your office done differently? I mean, what has your office done to create greater equity in the justice system as a whole? And what are your plans to further this goal?
Thank you for that question. I am very proud of the work that both Orange and Chatham County have done to improve equity and to improve results for our criminal justice prosecutions. Mm-hmm. We have been one of the first in the state to start diversion programs for the mentally ill, like the Community Resource Court we started almost 20 years ago. I was heavily involved in that and was the person that pushed for it to be expanded into Chatham County. So that is a program that diverts the severe and persistently mentally ill out of the criminal justice system because they don't belong there. So I'm very proud of that. More recently, we have been an advocate for bail reform so that bail is not used to punish, but rather used to really help people understand that they need to come to court and to help them come to court. So we've been very, I would guess, in the vanguard on that. Also, we are fairly transparent. There is a dashboard that's been created by the School of Government where you can look in depth at the numbers for Orange and, well, for the entire state, but for Orange and Chatham County about prosecutions and how equity may be impacted by that. So I'm very proud of that. We also have been doing diversion programs for those who might be misusing substances, drugs, pills, in order to divert them again out of the justice system, because an illness is best treated in a medical environment and not in a jail. So I'm very proud of the work that we have done there.
Very nice. So out of all these programs, if you had to choose one, which are you most proud of?
I think I'm most proud of the fact that we started a mental health court before anybody else pretty much in the state had really thought about it. And that it has been an amazing program. I believe we're getting into our 25th year on that. So that's very exciting. There are so many people that we have helped over the decades get on their feet, become healthy, both physically and mentally, so that they could just be better community citizens again and stop that revolving door. So I'm pretty proud of that, that we've done so much there.
Great. And now moving on to economic development and that side of things, what is your vision for Pittsburgh as a city and Orange and Chatham County in general?
Well, what's very interesting is that Chatham County's population has increased by 20% based on the last census. which makes it one of the fastest growing counties in the state of North Carolina, which should surprise nobody. It's a wonderful county. Orange County is also growing, but they have higher density in Orange County, so that limits a little bit how much growth can come in to the county. Chatham County has a new development coming in called Chatham Park, which is expected to double the population of Chatham County. So that is certainly something we need to think about. And just anecdotally, I will tell you that people are moving to this area away from the bigger metropolitan areas. They see Orange and Chatham as a place with great schools, great job opportunities. There's a lot of medical institutions that are here in the area. In fact, one of my family members is leaving Charlotte and coming here because they see it as the next great thing.
And it is the next great thing because Wake County is becoming very unaffordable by the day, and it's bursting at the seams in terms of everything right now, new construction, infrastructure, everything. So what would you tell people who are not happy with this progress and the economic development and reform coming to Chatham County?
Well, I completely understand that. People love the rural agrarian kind of atmosphere in both counties, and they don't want to lose that character. I also understand the pressures for affordable housing. We want to be sure that if we're going to have this kind of growth, we still have the ability to have our workers live and work in the same community. Right. So I absolutely understand that pressure. But I think at this point, the horse is out of the barn, so to speak. It's coming, and we need to get ready and be prepared.
So sounds like you have a lot of ground to cover in front of you when you do get elected. Hopefully you will. All the best for that. Both in terms of breaking stereotypes, gender boundaries and stereotypes. Like you said, you'll probably be the first woman candidate elected. So breaking gender stereotypes and standing up like a role model for younger girls, and also supporting the future economic development.
So absolutely.
Yes. We wish you all the best, and hopefully we can have you back on the show another time. And you can tell us what you're planning on that. And what would be your parting message to the community before we leave?
I would say I am doing this not just because it's my aspiration. I want it to be your inspiration. So vote if you want the most experience, a very highly qualified candidate to have this important executive position, and you think it's important that our community be represented by the first woman elected district attorney, vote. And vote for Kaylee Tabor.
Well, thank you very much for your time today, Kaylee, and thank you for joining us on Radio Nyra.
Thank you.